Welcome back to BLOCKTV. This is BLOCKTV Bites. The epic downfall of our treasured friend, Craig Stephen Wright. Now, long before all the furor around him claiming he is Satoshi Nakamoto, life was simpler, less complicated, and involved less legal fees. So in honor of Craig being ordered to forfeit 50% of his Bitcoin, join us on our CSW timeline tour. I can't wait for all the angry YouTube comments to come in. Now, Craig Stephen Wright was born in October of 1970, which means he's either a Scorpio or a Libra, which would totally explain his behavior either way. Moving on, Wright graduated from high school in Brisbane in 1987 from the Padua College. He was then an adjunct academic while he was working on his PhD entitled The Quantification of Information Systems Risk. Wright claims to have his doctorate in theology, comparative religious, and classical studies, but the history surrounding his degree and where it's from is a bit nebulous. In any case, Wright's PhD from CSU was finally awarded years later in February 2017. Now let's get into the juicy stuff, shall we? In December 2015, two parallel investigations by publications Wired and Gizmodo suggested that Wright may have invented Bitcoin. However, this caused a shitstorm, with additional reports raising concerns that those claims were all part of an elaborate hoax. Possibly the best hoax in history? Probably not. After the reports, the AFP raided Wright's home and business as part of an Australian tax office investigation. 5 months later, on May 2, 2016, the BBC and The Economist published articles claiming that Wright had digitally signed messages using cryptographic keys created during the early days of Bitcoin. This, of course, caused the cryptosphere to lose its shit once more, and Wright to perpetuate the idea that he did indeed create Bitcoin. Said he'd been doing it since 2009, although there are conflicting reports of when he outright claimed to be Satoshi. But what about the legal woes? When did that whole clusterfuck begin? Well, in February 2018, the estate of Dave Kleiman, Wright's former business partner, who sadly passed away, brought a lawsuit against the Aussie in Florida over the rights to over $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. In May of this year, Wright began to invoke the UK libel law to bring litigation against naysayers, claiming that he was not Satoshi, subsequently serving legal notices to Vitalik Buterin and Roger Ver, amongst others. And yesterday, drumroll please, Judge Bruce Reinhart rejected Wright's testimony, stating that he had perjured himself by providing the court with falsified documents and recommended that he hand over 50% of the over 1 million Bitcoins Kleiman mined with Wright, along with the intellectual property rights associated with Bitcoin software. A Twitter user by the name of Katie Ananina was present at the trial and was live tweeting the drama. My personal favorites are, Judge asked defendant some questions and it was fire. He mentioned the moments where CSW swore on the information that fully contradicted the official motion that was filed 3 weeks earlier, and followed it with, plaintiff, I don't want to go over everything again, but just to understand the gravity of the fraud. Here he goes through all the lies CSW has stated since the beginning of the case, how he changed his story, and how new pieces kept coming out to make the case more complex. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But what's 50% of zero? Because he ain't got it. Well, thanks for joining us on our Trainwreck timeline today. That was BLOCKTV Bites. Stay tuned for more news and updates.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.